What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and you are enjoying the dust settling on the Dallas Cowboys 53-man roster. The Cowboys, of course, fully, finally, officially, all of those words require Stephen Jones air quotes, set that group on Tuesday afternoon. But here we are, not even 24 hours later, as I put this together for you, and there are already some changes. We'll, of course, get to those. But in case you're new around here, my name is RJ Ochoa. I cover the Cowboys, been doing so professionally for about a decade now. I'm all over social media, X, Instagram, Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, RJ.Ochoa. Like my Facebook page, follow me on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, whatever. But I'm here every single day on the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel talking Dallas Cowboys football. So like the video, subscribe. We got live shows, recorded videos, all sorts of fun stuff each and every single day because it's football season. In fact, the next big thing on our radar is the season beginning. It starts 8 days from now because today is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, by the way, when the Cowboys visit the Philadelphia Eagles in the season opener. It's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of frustration, and we're going to share it all together, both throughout the weeks and after every single Dallas Cowboys game because I have live post-game shows. All right, so we have one big thing to talk about today and then some roster stuff. We're going to get to the big thing first, but a quick plug. Earlier today on Wednesday, video dropped here on the channel. Interview I had with Drew Brees. It was super awesome, super amazing, fantastic insight. We did talk a little bit of Dallas Cowboys stuff. So go into the channel. You can watch my chat with Drew Brees. He was amazing and is doing what he can to put some proper attention on a great cause, which is donating blood. There's a great campaign. All the links are in the description for that video. Tomorrow on Thursday, you'll get a conversation I had with Trey Wingo talking about Jerry Jones, his antics, the Cowboys, and how we're all frustrated. Trey shares our frustration. And so it's nice to at least park our cars in the same garage as somebody else. But that being said, let's get to the big thing. So this is bloggingtheboys.com right now. It's 2:15 p.m. Central Standard Time as I discuss this, but you'll see the main article right now. This might be different, obviously, if you check it out later on in the day, is a report about Micah Parsons seeking a second opinion on his back issue. So let's get here, and I need to give you some context before we get to Wednesday's actual report. The context goes all the way back to Monday. I say all the way back, but this was only 48 hours ago. So this was an article that I wrote on Monday. Let me pause this video for you here. Titled, NFL Insider Intimates Micah Parsons' Back Tightness Situation Will Linger Over the Cowboys This Season. We talked about this at the time, but to refresh your memory, Adam Schefter went on ESPN, on Get Up specifically on Monday, and this was his quote: even if he were talking about Micah Parsons out there a week from Thursday night, which there are certainly no assurances or indications he will be right now, he's going to be limited at best. This was Adam just talking about how Micah would fare as a player if he is on the field. Micah could not go in and play a full football game Thursday night, and again, the Dallas Cowboys say an MRI on his back came back clean. Now, Micah has been alleging, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but Micah has been saying the reason he can't practice or participate is because he has a back issue. That is the new kind of thing to be paying attention to in this whole saga here. The Cowboys, as Adam notes, had an MRI or conducted an MRI on the back, and it came back clean. But as Adam says there, the third part, you see, he says there's still back tightness. And this is the important part. We talked about this Monday. A hard thing to argue with. And I have a feeling that these types of issues may hang over this team and this situation this season. So let's go back to the report on Wednesday. Now the article again, report, Cowboys pass rusher Micah Parsons seeking second opinion on the back issue. So I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I want to make that very clear here. But the general conspiracy theory is that the back issue for Micah Parsons is a result of the times being the contract negotiations, the ongoing extension negotiations between Parsons and the Cowboys, Parsons' representation, David Mullageta, all this stuff. Again, speaking in hypothetical conspiracy theories, the hypothetical conspiracy theory is that a contract extension would magically fix this back issue. Everybody believes this. You don't need to offer it out as some sort of unique theory. We all understand what we think is happening, what we are assuming could or may be happening. This is clearly what seems to possibly, potentially, maybe be the case. Again, not accusing anybody of anything. So that being said, here is what the report was on Wednesday. There was a photo floating around of Micah at the DFW airport, and friend of the program, Jane Slater from NFL Network, noted in a post on Twitter, no, he's not headed to Cabo. It's a funny joke from Jane. I'm told Micah Parsons is getting a second opinion on his back per a source informed. The Cowboys are off until Friday. So this is the main thing to kind of take away from this here. And the important takeaway, the potential horrible takeaway, the potential like freak out takeaway, is that Micah may not play, right? Like that's the end of this road where we're about to go down together. But these are just my 2 cents. This is just my gut feel. Okay. This is just how I see the situation right now. The fact that a second opinion on the back issue that everyone has thoughts on is being sought with 8 days to go before the season begins would suggest, whatever you believe about the back issue, that this isn't ending anytime soon, right? Like if this was going to be ending sometime soon, because a lot of people have said, oh, I tell you what, it's going to happen this day. It's going to happen this day. Jerry's just waiting for this. It's definitely coming down now. My only response to that is that whatever you think about this back issue, whether you think it's real or fake or whatever conspiracy theories you want to toss out, the fact that there is a second opinion being sought with approximately a week to go until the season fully starts does seem to suggest we're definitely not turning around from this path anytime soon, which is not a good thing for anybody involved and continues to be the highest point of frustration for anybody who cares about this team, which unfortunately is all of us. So again, this is difficult to have a conversation around because I don't want to accuse anybody of anything. I don't want to accuse anybody of faking an injury or faking whatever, or faking this or that. And you may respond and say that's naive, that you definitely know that's what's happening here. Again, we're trying to have a contextual conversation and be fair to all parties involved. And again, I would say that if Micah is seeking a second opinion, he clearly feels that a second opinion is necessary, right? Why would a second opinion be necessary? Because the first one isn't good enough. What would be good enough? I don't know, good enough to rule you as ineligible or unqualified to play. The ruling that your injury is so severe that you simply can't play right now. Because if this thing were to take one specific hypothetically dramatic turn, the Cowboys could really put their foot down and say, hey, we've run medical tests, we've run an MRI, we've done all this stuff. There's nothing to suggest, nothing to prove, even in the slightest degree, that there's an issue here. So you have to play. And if you don't, we're going to take legal action, legal in the court of the NFL, potentially. I don't know, maybe even like legitimately legal. And Micah could say, well, this is how I feel. Like, I'm sorry that your tests say X, Y, and Z, but this is how I feel, and I don't feel ready to play. And so I'm going to go get another opinion to prove that point. So the last thing any of us want is the Cowboys fighting with Micah, or fighting with Micah's representation, or fighting with Micah's second opinion, and the second opinion fighting with the first opinion, or whatever. Again, none of this is good. None of this is conducive to winning. Nobody wants to see any of this. This is a horrible idea all the way around. And I don't even think it's fair to call it an idea, because I think everyone's just doing what they feel is the next most logical step for them at this point in time. But this is not good. That's what matters most. And it remains amazing that we're here. And so I think that, for a while, we've all kind of assumed that this saga had one of two possible endpoints, right? It was either the extension gets done or Micah's traded away, right? Those are the only two possible, solutions, if you want to call them that, to the story. Okay, well, getting traded doesn't seem pragmatic, or certainly isn't pragmatic, but getting traded doesn't seem practical. It doesn't seem possible. It doesn't seem legitimately possible, because the Cowboys would be the team that would have to, institute that decision. But I think that as we get closer and closer and closer and closer, and I don't even want to say more information unveils itself, but whatever, I think that my new potential theory, conspiracy theory, hypothetical theory, I don't even know the proper way to label this, but my new idea, for lack of a better word, is that this does drag into the regular season. And maybe, and I'm not the first person to suggest this, again, not claiming that, but that would not be good, right? This drags into, I don't know, October or whatever. I pick whatever day you want, whatever week you want, until the deal finally gets done. And at that point, the back injury clears up and all this stuff. But again, it makes sense. You may not agree with it, but it makes sense for Micah to, again, for lack of a better word, defend his position that his back issue, is an injury that could cause him to miss time, if this is the stance that everybody involved is taking. And it clearly seems to be. The fact that today is August the 27th would certainly suggest that that's the case. So I don't know how this ends. And I don't mean to suggest like, let's panic, let's freak out, our pets' heads are falling off. That's not my position. That's not my point here. But my position and my point is that the fact that we're having this conversation on August the 27th is not good. and doesn't make me feel like this is going to happen anytime soon. We've already destroyed the Netflix theory, right? Like the longstanding conspiracy theory that, oh, they were just gonna, use the Micah thing as weird, pseudo PR to hype up the Netflix documentary, and the deal is definitely going to come out as soon as the doc comes out, or right after the doc comes out. That theory is officially over and kaput. So what's the new one? What's the new like betting favorite theory? I don't even know at this point. I don't know what the most, agreed upon, forget logical. I don't know what the most agreed upon outcome is here. I think, though, that we all agree that whatever it is, it's not going to be good. It won't be good. It can't be good at this point. It's very difficult to envision a scenario, a practical scenario, where everyone winds up happy at this point. Now, money fixes a lot of issues, and maybe it truly is that. Maybe it's getting an extension done, and everybody laughs and shakes hands, and Micah is on the field in week 1 against the Eagles. But at this moment in time, I don't know that we all kind of share what is the most likely outcome, because this thing remains a thing this deep into the process. So it's a very frustrating reality, a very frustrating experience, and it never had to be this way. And yet here we are for some reason or another. That was the big thing to get to today, the Micah thing. But I talked about that there were some smaller things. Let's go back to bloggingtheboys.com, put this up on your screen. And I talked about it that not even 24 hours ago for me in real time, you might be watching this after the fact, the Cowboys set their initial 53-man roster. They've already made a couple of moves here. So in process, the first thing the Cowboys did was claim 2 players. The first one is very difficult to pronounce. Trequezie Bridges, I believe, is the proper pronunciation, from the Chargers, and Reddy Stewart from the Vikings. There was 2 corners who the Cowboys claimed and added to their team. We all know, we've been talking about how they need help at the corner position specifically, obviously, until Trayvon Diggs comes back and Savon Ravel remains on injured reserve. So it made sense for the Cowboys to get some help. But this is a time of year where what goes up must come down. So if you're going to add some players to the roster, you have to remove some players from the roster. And it has long been reported that the Cowboys might be considering putting Phil Maffa and Kalen Carson on injured reserve. So it made sense that those would be the 2 moves in question. Nope, not going to happen. The 2 moves are that the Cowboys released Andrew Booth and Zion Childress. It was noted by ESPN's Todd Archer that Childress is a candidate to return to the practice squad. So we'll see how the dust settles there. But on the subject of the practice squad, the Cowboys have already begun filling it out. And we've got a tracker for you over at bloggingtheboys.com. As you can see at the time of this recording, at this of 1:27 p.m. Central Standard Time, that was the last move the Cowboys made. Ernest Brown, CJ Goodwin, Trayshawn Holden, yay, everybody celebrate, and Jalen Brooks are all members of the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. A lot of us thought, myself included, that CJ Goodwin would be somebody who would wind up back on the actual 53-man roster, but he's on the practice squad for now. And a few rules on how this all works. NFL players can have up to 16 players, NFL teams can have up to 16 players on their practice squad. They can have a 17th if that 17th is a part of the NFL's International Pathway Program. Remember Isaac Alarcon, something along those lines. That being said, of those 16 players, each one of them can have up to 3 elevations to your active 46-man game day roster in a given week. So CJ Goodwin, as an example, even though he's not on the active roster and only on the practice squad, can be a part of the active roster for the first 3 games of the season. But after that 3rd elevation, you can no longer elevate them. You have to place them on the actual 53-man roster. So the Cowboys clearly have a plan for how they're going to do this, how they're going to juggle this, how this player is going to be on IR, how this player is going to be on the practice squad. And then at this point, this player is going to move from here to there. You get the point that it's all, kind of long-winded, and there are different processes and different, labels that you have to put on these sorts of things. And so I have no issues with this. I didn't mean to say or imply this was negative in any kind of way. This is just all part of assembling your roster in the way that you're most comfortable with as an NFL team. That's kind of the latest in the world of the Cowboys. So hopefully we can just get to Friday without anything crazy going on, and then a new week begins, because Friday is technically Monday for the Cowboys, what with their game being next Thursday. So the practices and rhythms of how their week are going to operate mean that they fully begin on Friday. Their first practice for the week will be on Sunday, the way it normally is on a Wednesday. So just so you know the kind of context of where we are, we're essentially and effectively in week 1, which is exciting, but which also means the fact that the best player on the team seeking a second opinion on their back injury, whatever you want to call it, doesn't exactly feel great right now. But I digress. Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out. My name is RJ Ochoa. You know where to find me. The links to all my socials are down in the description below. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Enjoy the challenge on MTV, because I know my wife and I will as well. Drew Brees interview already on the channel. Trey Wingo coming tomorrow, and doing my best to make sure it happens. A very, very, very special guest on Friday as well. Busy week at Blogging the Boys, busy season. So like the video, subscribe, tell a friend, and thanks so much. We'll see you next time.